It is a new year here at the Overwatch World Cup 2019. We're going to be kicking things off with Team Ireland taking on Iceland.
And here in Iceland and Ireland, as you can hear Mitch there in the back, you can hear Mitch Leslie, Mr. Uber shouts in the back there, that we're starting here. World Cup prelims. Iceland, Ireland, rolling it here to our first fight. It's going to be Busan. And Iceland, they're going to be winning Haffy, now on the DPS, not on that Diva that we've seen him on in the past, on Farah.
For Haffy, it's a return to old form. People forget that he used to be a DPS player before swapping to the off-tank role.
And you know, he is the second best off-tank in Iceland. That's courtesy of Sideshow and Bryn, who are sitting to the left of us.
Something they really told us to go in on. And Sindri, gonna fall immediately. Team Ireland, the first takedown here, the Overwatch World Cup, and a good start for the Underdogs.
Ireland playing that very meta comp that we've been seeing a lot, the Doom Reaper, just taking so much space here. Iceland, their front line just getting run over. Haffy, he was trying to look for that flank, and they have no front pressure. They have nothing to stop that aggression.
And it's a little bit unexpected. We know that these teams scrimmed each other a whole lot going into this event, but a lot of people thought that Iceland would be the stronger team, and they still very well may be, but Ireland taking the first fight is a really good sign.
And now Ireland can hold aggressively. See Happy Cool is going to swap back to that Reaper now. Sindri going on to the Doom, so it is that mirror comp. As Finzi down again, Flex G finding that early pick with the halt.
Flexi just rolling it in, ends up getting taken down the other side, 5-on-5, evened up, but Ireland keeping good control of the doorway here. Iceland really struggling to get things going, but they are starting to fight it back. It's 4-on-4. We'll see if they can get through.
Well, Scally down, that means there's no Moira. There's not a lot of sustain here for Ireland. They have to play slow. They have to play their shields around mutes, and they don't have a lot of health.
Iceland moving on in, the coalescence on and over, but all the while Ireland getting progress on the point. As Iceland looks for a way, and Sindri, though, back into the fray, takes down Flex G. And now there's an opening for Iceland as they move on in. Flux, though, in return, Ireland not giving up easily, and they turn the tide.
One incredibly good flux there from Pure Irish. He puts them all up in the air, even though Iceland got that early pick. Sindri getting kill after kill. They're still in the fight. Sindri getting another. Sindri wants Iceland to stay in. They want them to get this flip.
This meta is so important for good Doomfist play. Sindri doing everything he can and more, and Iceland about to flip the point here, but Ireland, they bought themselves so much time.
Yeah, even if they lose this fight, it's a lot of time off the clock. It is a lot of bank got for Ireland. And also, look at the ult bank, ZP.
Yeah.
They have such a good ult bank coming into this next fight for the retake. Iceland, though, going to have plenty of their own. They're going to look to sustain here close to the choke. They know they should know they have the Cole advantage here, so they're going to probably look for an aggressive Cole, try to get a halt, try to get some early damage, and try to get that pick there with their Doom.
And talk about bank, they're accruing interest all the while. Ireland in the fantastic spot to potentially take the first round here, but the Coalescence in immediately. Liam just burned on down. Here comes Buckle in over the top for Ireland. Goes for the Death Blossom, immediately taken down. Iceland completely denying Ireland, and they lost some key ultimates there.
Much earlier Coalescence there from Numi, and they just had a lot better value. They hold the chokes. They make sure they can't get in too far. They also were able to get the Supercharger, the Death Blossom out of Ireland. So those are also big, because Supercharger is such an important ult for these compositions. And I imagine Steel Dragons is just going to drop that in this following fight, going to put it on that corner, and they're going to use that damage to get the picks here again on the choke. Ireland have to find a way to get through. They have the double support ult.
Not only is Ireland a little bit more drained, Iceland charged up, ready to go for this fight. They open up the Supercharger, as you predicted. Supercharger down immediately. Haffy right to the back, goes for the Death Blossom, Flex G down, and Haffy just be a little bit careful, taken on down. Ireland not out of the fight yet, but look at Sindri, off to the other side, looking for the Reaper, looking for the finish, ends up finding it. Takes a rock to the face, but still okay.
Such an important opening pick there. Sindri making sure that as soon as Flex G is down, that's a lot of pick potential gone. Removed from Ireland, and as long as Sindri's alive, and he was hunting, absolutely hunting Buckle, keeping all the remaining DPS out of the fight for Ireland, that means that Iceland are free. They have so much more damage, so much better combination potential here. They're still holding these chokes aggressively. Ireland, they need to get out.
Could be the final opportunity. They're going to open up with the Flux. They need to get something off this. Half-cool, though, going to deny. Takes down Flex G, and you lose your Doomfist that early in the fight. It's just not going to be capable to bring it on back. Sindri diving on in, 87% for Iceland, and this should be Iceland well on their way to taking this first round.
Ireland now, I think they're going to have to move to fast classes. There's nobody going to be able to touch unless they get some of those stall out, unless they get a Hammond. They are going to be swapping to that. They're trying to touch the point. You see Flexi coming in already down. Can anyone else touch?
Well, they're going to trigger overtime, but they don't have a whole lot left in the tank. They're hoping for a miracle, but it's just unlikely to happen here at this point. Iceland just too much on the point. Ireland hopping on over, hoping for anything, but Sindri just rotating around. Nothing to stop the Doom here, and this should be it.
They need to give her that Supercharger, and this should be the stagger. It should be it. That's the first round of this control going the way of Iceland. And Sindri had himself a round, ZP.
It was a little bit of a slow start. Flex G for Ireland came out really strong, but Sindri just took a moment to recover, came back out, and once Iceland got control of the point, they didn't give it up.
And already we can see they're Iceland. You see they're passionate. They're ready to go to fight UK. That's their ultimate opponent. That's what they want to know. As we were talking with them earlier, they want to go meet up with UK.
And really, when you talk about this Iceland team, even though, especially because of World Cup last year, a lot of people are looking at Team UK and going, surely they're going to get to the final day. But Iceland, we talked to them, and Iceland really believes that they can take down the UK if they get through Ireland first.
So I'm getting in here to Shrine. Our next stop here in Busan. Both teams still running this mirror match. Actually, not running the mirror match. Ireland looked like they were going to come out with that comp that we saw Iceland with running a little bit earlier. You have that Pharaoh, you have the Hanzo, you have the Mercy to pocket to get the damage boost, especially for the Pharaoh with Flex G. And they're playing a Hog Orisa. A lot of pick potential here for Ireland. They want to play slow, they want to spam, and Iceland, they need to recognize that. They need to try to find the backline, especially Scally. Scally is going to be very easy to pick off.
And Iceland, they're doing the right thing here where they're getting underneath the building. They're not giving easy far pressure up. And they're going to take a moment here where they're going to decide to go directly into the point and hopefully for Sindri to find a pick. But that is a nice halt, setting up Flex G into the back. Still a good poke. Buckle able to find Haffy, and Ireland in a really good spot right now.
I mean, with Haffy down, there's a lot less pressure now on Pure Irish and Liam. And Flex G, he's just completely uncontested. They had to get rid of this front line. You see an early coalescence used for Numi, but it's done. The fight's over. Ireland playing that so well, getting so much damage early.
One thing that Ireland was really, really proud of when we talked to them, they said, we know that player-wise, we don't necessarily have the prestige of some of the other teams here, but they really took a lot of pride in their strategy planning going in. They said they had a lot of pocket strategies that they were able to pull out, and so far, this seems to be one of them.
And you see Haffy now has made the swap onto Sombra. They put Sindri now onto the Reaper, so they don't want to play the Doom. They want Haffy now to be the one to look for the hacks on the Fair Mercy, maybe the hacks on the Hog. They really want to be trying to get some of those hacks off and get some value there. See, now they're just approaching, getting some spam.
Buckle gets Sindri immediately! The early pickoff puts Ireland in a really nice spot. And you take a look at this, Ireland up one to start with, and really just piling on right after.
Now Irish finding Steel Dragons. Dragons just having to walk, the rest of Iceland having to walk away. Have no success so far. They have not found any success at all with the hacks, getting a pick. And it's really hard for them to get in here because Flex G and Buckle has just kept up this pressure immensely. And when they're looking at them, Liam is looking for the hauled hooks with Pure Irish.
The problem is they have to find a way to get to the point, but Flex G easily getting good poke damage on the way in. And frankly, it's also delaying them. Ireland has had control of the point this entire time.
Iceland still has no ults in this bank besides this upcoming Coalescence. We're going to have to find some value already, though. The Nano Barrage. That's it. Fight over.
Flex G, really nice stuff on the way in. Ireland uncontested here so far, and the best, they're just one fight away.
Iceland just now getting some ults that they need, but they're not even close to EMP. Is Havical, though, just going to swap, go over to the McCree now, so they're not going to look for these hacks. They don't have time to build an EMP, so they'd rather just get a McCree, try to duel the Fair Mercy directly.
This is a sad McCree swap here. This is not a swap that usually works out well. It is pure desperation for Iceland, and we'll see if it works out. Meanwhile, Pure Irish coming in on the Hog flank, was attempting it, but while this is going on, he's on the main fight. Sindri already takes down Liam, and now there's an opportunity for Iceland to bring this directly over to the point.
Great play there from Iceland. They recognize that Irish was so far away from the rest of the team. They use the beat. Futhark there drops it. They go aggressively, run over Liam, just run over the Supercharger, which is exactly what they need if they're running a comp like this. If Hog Orisa is out instead of the Sigma, there's way less damage mitigation. Sindri and the rest of Iceland need to be walking over them, though now Pure Irish has swapped over to the Sigma.
I think it was just unfortunate time for Ireland where Irish thought they would be coming in from the other direction, went for the flank, and it just didn't pan out.
But 99% for Ireland here. All they have to do is win one fight. They can wait for their ults. They've kept Buckle and Flex G on their respective classes, even though they've moved over to the Sigma. And I still think this is fine because the McCree has a tough time, as there's still a really tough time of dealing with the Fair Mercy when pocketed.
And also for Haffy, you have to wonder, where's this hit scan level going to be at? He used to be a DPS player, but it's been a hot minute in hit scan. You got to be an active player on it. Finzi moving in, aggressive flux to the back, Havical down, barrage from back to Flex G, and it is doing terrible damage to the back line.
But with that barrage and with the Supercharger down, there's not a lot of resources left for Iceland at this point. It's Sindri versus the world, really. It's only Sindri here. Finzi coming back, but they're so low, they don't have the health. And they flipped it. Mute's gonna get the res here. Can Iceland even touch? They're coming now for a stagger fight.
Iceland does not have time in the least. Overtime is triggered, and now they're just hoping to get the miracle pickoff to give more time to the rest of their team, but it is simply not happening here, Avast. and this is going to be 1-1 heading into round 3.
Irish is going to go down, but Flex G and Mutes are on the point. Scally coming back with the Nano. It's still a very tough fight for them. There's not a lot of sustain for Iceland. It's all just stagger, and I'm calling it now. Ireland getting the first map versus Iceland. That is an underdog story. We wouldn't have expected that. Well, not the first map, but the first round, I should say.
And Ireland came out pretty strong in the last round also, where, okay, even though it got flipped around on them, they started out 70%, and I think the star here to look at for Ireland, and I think there might be many, is Flex G. Flex G looked pretty good on Doom to start things off, had a very good Pharah there, and Iceland, they didn't have a great response.
And Ireland, you know, they have a very scrappy squad here. They've been crowdfunded here to get BlizzCon. They haven't been to BlizzCon before. They're so hopeful with the preliminaries, other nations behind them, and I have to say, these are players that are relatively untested in terms of like what we've seen in contenders and what we've seen in the wider competitive scene. But right now, there's a lot of talent on Iceland. Flex G, like you pointed out, I mean, I've been pretty impressed with him.
It's been really cool to watch here so far, and I think one thing you have to say is that even though many people thought, Iceland's going to get through, it's not sure at all.
Well, that's an early rock across the map. Going to catch Scally, 21 HP, not going to be finished off. See Ireland here once again on this pick comp with the Fair Mercy, with the
Happy's
Hanzo.
down!
Happy goes so aggressive with that TP, ZB, and gets caught.
Buckle has his number right now. Buckle sees Happy, arrow goes to head, and Ireland just gets to move over to the point. There's not going to be much of anything that can test Flex G right now, and Ireland is in a good spot once more.
And with Numi down, that's into the fight. They could have maybe had a chance to sustain, but it's definitely over. And with that early pick onto Happy, Ireland have almost initially they have a huge advantage. They have such a huge advantage moving forward because not only did they win first fight, but they won first fight on the pick comp, CP, the Pharah, the Hanzo. It means you can control the chokes, you can span them as Iceland enters.
Iceland's gonna have to go through the rocket obstacle course right now, and they weren't very good at getting through that the last time. Flex G did not make things easy for them. How is Iceland gonna get to the point?
And Numi already down. Buckle with that first pick. There's the Nano Barrage. Fight over. That is a fast fight, CP.
And I have to say, Buckle might not have even needed the pick there. That was just the insult to injury because they had no chance versus the Nano Barrage on the way in.
And they've swapped over to this McCree Reaper strategy and putting Finzi on D.Va now, a tank we haven't seen used too much, hoping that they can contain the Hanzo, contain the Pharah. And I actually like that idea. I think it's a good play from Iceland, but it's still an issue of them getting out of choke, not lose anyone. There is no Buckle, so aggressive though.
Happy finally gets revenge. That was going the other way all map long, but now Happy, a chance to move forward. This is where McCree is so good when you can pile on Happy with 2, and Iceland moving right back over to the point.
I mean, right there, it's the opening pick on a Buckle. Buckle holding far too aggressively there, getting caught at the choke as Hanzo, which is something you just can't do. But very good picks from Iceland. They moved over, they made the flip. It's not 99%, so they have plenty of time to still bring this back around in the control bank. Getting close to the Supercharger, they will have some ults up available for this next fight. They just need to not lose anyone to any of the pick classes, to Buckle, to Flex G. They just have to play tight, make sure they're not getting hooked.
And particularly Buckle, where we've talked a lot about Flex G, but the early pickoffs from Buckle have been fantastic here so far, and that's a little bit deep. Finzi, lucky not to lose the mech there. Deadeye out from Happy, just a little bit of spacing, looking for far on the outside, but it's difficult from this range for McCree to take down the Pharah.
There's a Supercharger for Liam. They're going to move forward with this damage, trying to find an early pick. Finzi looking for the zone. Flex G already down.
And that's rare. Reaper just in the right place, right time, takes down Flex G, and this is a prompt for him. They need to back out.
I really do like this swap for Finzi. He's making sure to keep the constant pressure onto Buckle, onto Flex G, prevent any of those pick. Though with Numi down, there's a lot of sustain gone for Iceland. They're going to have to play around the point, play around Futhark, and just wait for Numi to come back.
Good news for Iceland here. They've evened things out. So Ireland, more time pressure on them. They've sort of given up the early advantage that they had. Now they're moving in. Dragon Strike right down the middle. Down goes the Orisa. And Steel Dragon's out of the fight. The path is open for Ireland. Flex G over the top. D.Va in his face, but just firing back the D.Va. Finzi super low. Has to burn mech just to get back in. And Ireland, still an opportunity. Here comes Russ from the back. Takes down 1.
Buckle playing tight here, getting pocketed. They're playing around Irish. They're playing around Liam. They have a solid front line, and that's a nice headshot there to Finzi. The fight is over. It's going to be flipped here. But Iceland have bought some great time, and some very good opening picks there as well. Once again, from Buckle, from Irish, just making sure to get what they need.
Ireland right back in it, but Iceland, this has been a very good turn of events for them where they're delaying here, they're just trying to get this as close to 99% as possible, and Ireland, they're gonna have to be perfect for the next 2 fights or the first map, gonna go to Iceland.
And the problem with that as well, ZP, is that Iceland have swapped to a comp that's a lot better than what they had in the previous round of Busan, and all they have to do is win one fight. They can wait for the ult bank to come up. They can also Ireland are not good at dueling. They're not good at dueling to the point when you're running that Pharaoh Mercy because you're having to put so many resources into Flex G to make sure he can stay alive and get value.
And Iceland, they're just trying to rush to the point. They want to limit that time that they're eating the far poke, but look at that! Fizzy just set on a ride! Pure Irish, the Nano Whole Hog, taking control of the fight, decimates the tanks of Iceland. And now Ireland one fight away, but what? Where is Happy right now? Is he just in the back?
Happy just gets the flank, he finds Flexy and Mutes, and because Happy dies, Mutes falls to the ground, so Happy's able to get that pick as well. That's 2 players down for Ireland. Iceland, they can move in fast, and remember, when Flexy and Mutes are not there, there's almost no pick potential.
Happy might be leading the way. The Coalescence takes down Buckle, and they eat the Dragon Strike. Iceland, a late surge right back in. They're about to break the back of Ireland here on map 1.
Iceland controlling the point. Ireland, they're going to try to get in and touch. It's 99 now for Iceland. Can anyone touch? It's looking like the first map, though. Busan going the way of Team Iceland.
Well, it used to be nice bomb Happy. That was nice McCree Happy when they needed it most.
Happy, we've doubted his DPS. We hadn't seen it in a while. He pulled it out here. Very impressive there from Mr. Happy Cool.
On the left, front and left.
You can see him. There he is, having the rest of Iceland there. But still a very good showing from Ireland, ZP. A lot of people weren't necessarily expecting a lot from them coming into World Cup. It's a relatively untested region, an untested country. And they look pretty good.
And they're not just PR. People are looking at this going, okay, you have really the best PR team potentially of all teams in the Overwatch World Cup. Just a phenomenal effort to get their players out there. But their players are also playing incredibly hard. That was a good map.
Could have been just either way, just a couple team fights. We could have swapped. Ireland could have been in control of that. And you see that they're definitely playing around the strengths of Flex G. And also, I mean, Pure Irish on that Hog, having very good synergy with Liam. I think they have a good setup there, but they stayed on it too long. As soon as that counterclop comes out for Iceland, once they have the ability to roll over your tanks, especially with Finzi on the Hog, so he can not only negate your DPS line, but also the Hog, because you have Matrix, then maybe you need to think about swapping, and you're not good at brawling on that point.
Totally agreed, although the funny part there is that they were so close to making that work. You look to the second to last team fight, he dominated both the D.Va and the Orisa on the other side, and sure, the nano boost helped out, but that was a great play.
So I'm just getting ready to going into our second map soon enough. And Ireland, I think they're by no means out of it. Sure, they lost the first map, but they look good doing it. It wasn't a devastating loss. They have plenty of potential there, and I'm predicting a pretty good game that's potentially about to happen.
Honestly, I'm excited for the rest of the series, where this is a first to 3. There's still plenty of time for Ireland to bring this right back, and we will see how this develops. And don't forget, the winner of this, they go right into the fire. They have to face the UK.
Team UK.
Yeah.
Team UK. It is going to be an absolute Bants match, as they say. Very Bants. Iceland UK was going to be the top Bants, but even Ireland UK, a very good match there. A very fun match, I would say. Yeah. Both teams very passionate, have very passionate fans.
Talking both these teams, I think it was very clear. Both of them, they just want peace of the UK, no matter what.
No, everyone wants to play UK. That's the goal. Both these squads, they just want to play UK. They want to show like, yeah, we're way better than them. We can move on. We're a region that maybe not be like is necessarily a major region, but we have the talent of a major region.
And there's multiple reasons for that. Part of it is that you think about Bants coming out from the different teams. Team UK, I would say that they have many good virtues. I'm not entirely sure humility is one of them.
We were speaking to Astro in the lobby not too long before the preliminary started, and he says, yeah, like easy group, easy brackets, like easy life. I'm like, well, Astro, you gotta hold off because Iceland, Ireland, they're coming for you.
You know, Astro is a little bit blessed. He's been on the steak and lobster train for a while, and he's coming in pretty confident, I would say.
He is indeed a very confident, but sometimes hubris is a big weakness. It can lead to your downfall. And if you're and sure, you would think that Astro, he'd be ready, he'd be well, only mildly confident, but he's very confident. Very, very confident.
No nervousness at all from that man.
No, I'm probably to the point of perhaps, like I said, perhaps to a fault.
I felt a little bit snubbed by him as we were in the hotel lobby, though, because you were shaking the hands of the UK members on the left, and I was on the right, so I go, okay, I'm going to get Astro right now for the hug. Astro ignores me and just slithers to the side and, like, hits you with the handshake first. What was that?
I mean, what can I say? What can I say? I'm sort of a big guy. I tell you around, it's like, hey, what's up, guys? Everyone's like, what's up? So we have a very nice, it's Astro. I call him that. I know him on a first name basis. That's not his first name, though. But
I mean, it's the first name he prefers to be called. It's kind of like Batman.
Yeah.
But we're going to be going into the next map. It's going to be Hollywood, our hybrid map that we're heading on into, and we'll see if Ireland still has more pocket strategies available, because if there's any sort of map type where you can get away with sneaky things, hybrid would be it.
Hybrid allows for a lot more sort of that flexibility with composition, and it seems like Ireland definitely prefers to not be playing quite as much the Reaper Doom,
No.
at least on control. It might just be a control strategy for them. It definitely has some strengths there, but the reality is that when you're stuck on that Hanzo Pharah, you're not as good as brawling on the comp. You have to worry about your tank line getting rolled over a lot, or even your back line getting picked. And so maybe moving to hybrid, they're going to move over towards more meta mirror strategy, or they might bring up some even crazier things.
And I think one thing that's worth noting there is that you're completely right in how those fights take place, but one thing they were getting is that if you're running a Hanzo, what is the number one thing you're looking for? You're looking for the early pickoff. You're looking to find someone's head. It can be difficult right now in this meta. There's a lot of shields in your way. You kind of have to just, see through space and time to find the moment. But Buckle was doing that consistently.
Sorry, getting in here to Hollywood. It is going to be Ireland defending first. Iceland on the offense. Ireland, once again, instead of that Sigma Orisa that tank line we've been seeing so much of, they're playing the Hog once more. They're looking for the picks. Buckle back on the Hanzo and Flex G onto the Mei. So with these heroes available for them, it's all about picks. It's all about isolating someone with the wall, getting them with the hook, getting the freeze, having Buckle go with the flank. It's a lot of individual playmaking ability here and making sure that they don't get run over by Iceland, because Iceland, they see this and like, we're going to go Reaper Doom. We're going to try to walk all over you.
Iceland, they're going to play the meta. This is the meta right now, but they get hooked in immediately, and Finzi,
there's
the
wall.
Real danger.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He is gone. And that's exactly what you need. Even if the hook doesn't necessarily guarantee the kill, if you can put that Mei wall right behind them, you can isolate them, you can guarantee the kill later.
Yeah, I mean, you can try and shield yourself all you want there. It does not last forever. And the wall up a long time. So far, Ireland, good start. Going to be burning about a minute off the clock.
Happy, he's moved to the flank. See, he's on that Mega Pack in the alley. The rest of Iceland approaching, but the hook comes out once again. Steel Dragon's down now. And Happy, he's moving up to the top. He's going for the flank.
He's looking for it, but they're still down one. Scully, though, going to get caught, and Iceland able to do serious damage to the back line. Ireland firing back a little bit, but spawn advantage is with Iceland. They're in a really good spot, and they're going to be able to keep up the pressure.
So this res is very important. This res coming out onto Liam means that Ireland, they can stabilize on the point, even though they got those pickoffs. It was a good flank from Happy, followed up by Sindri. The res makes sure that Ireland can stay in this fight.
And right now, the rest of Ireland, they just need to poke a little bit, give time for the rest of their team to move back over. Pure Irish is back in, and Buckle strikes again, takes down Sindri, and that's huge, given how much Doomfist is needed to get things going. And Buckle's not done yet, finds another Flex G to the back. Ireland will repel Iceland once more.
And Buckle, he's been popping up. He's been looking through space and time. You said he must peer through the looking glass, and he has peered. He has peered through the glass, but they're not stopping him. They're not blocking the looking glass at all, ZP. They have Sigma. They need to keep a shield in his face. They need to make sure that Buckle is not allowed to get all that space.
It's incredible what Buckle is doing, and the problem is if you start respecting the Hanzo, there's still a Hog. Pure Irish has been very consistent with his hook so far, and yes, Hog might not be the most ideal, but if you're not respecting the Hog, it can do serious damage.
Iceland's also had a very slow build here for their ult bank. You see they're trying to approach now. They're trying to take it to the point. There's the Hall Dragon, and the fight's over. The fight's already over.
It's just done. That was perfect execution from Ireland, and Iceland just going to be repelled once more, and now with a minute 38 left, you have to be considering the possibility that a full hold could be taking place.
Ireland also still, they have a great ult bank, ZP. They have a great ult bank. Look, still 5 ults on the board, only the Dragon used. We could see a Nano Whole Hog. We could see the Mei ult come out as soon as the Matrix is gone. As soon as the Matrix is gone, the Gravitic Flux is gone for Finzi. Like it's very easy. It's very easy for them to have a win condition here. And if Iceland don't win this push, then they're likely not going to win at all.
I don't think Iceland can win this push. I think they need... Oh, if you get Flex G, though, that's a huge play! Finzi with 2! That should have happened. Ireland was in such a good spot. They didn't even get a chance to flex with their ultimates in this situation. The absolute worst-case scenario for Ireland comes to pass, and Iceland's going to get point A after all.
And, we were talking about, okay, not looking pretty good for Ireland, but if you just have an incredible halt rock combo, which is what we did right there, Finzi hits the rock off that halt, they're able to halt them off the top and get 2 picks immediately, well then your ults don't matter because you're already in the graveyard.
If they were able to save with the nano boost, if they were able to get the Valkyrie out, it would have been a very different fight, but Ireland was just shell-shocked as much as we were.
That was an incredibly good play there from Iceland, from their tank line in particular. Steel Dragons and Finzi combining there to open it up. And now they have a good ult bank. They only had to use the Coalescence there. They're going to have 5 ults here. And I'll take the Iceland ult bank over the Ireland ult bank here. Because sure, they're trying to take high ground. But Iceland, all they need to do is recognize once again that if they can find Irish, if they can isolate Irish or Liam, or even Scally, then they can win this fight immediately.
Sindri looking for it, uses the punch, gets hooked in immediately. Flexi though, already down. 5-on-5, Sindri hammers it on in. And as it's 4v4, and even pure Irish, the whole hog ends up with 2. Whole hog getting just inordinate amounts of value.
Pure Irish with that nano whole hog doing so much actually. He immediately gets the pick. He also is able to put Happy, who is Death Blossoming, in the backline. He just sweeps them away, actually blows them away with the nano whole hog. Pure Irish getting an incredible amount of value with this hog when you think it shouldn't be possible since Sigma should be able to block the majority of that damage.
Also, Buckle getting extra time for Ireland to set up where they might have to run back a little bit further, but you get the late pick on the Moira. You've set yourself up for success. They will be a full 6, and we got to pause.
Quick pause coming out there, so some teams maybe having some tech issues. Once again, Ireland, though they did lose first, it's been a pretty good defense for them.
It has. And I think to a degree, you're seeing the power that off-meta picks can bring where, yes, the meta is the meta for a reason, but heroes like Roadhog, heroes like Hanzo still have to be respected for what they bring to the table. You have to play safe. You have to really watch out as you turn a corner because one good hook, one good arrow, it can delay your team. And frankly, given the ult deficit that Iceland was at, they should feel lucky that they got point A.
It was just off the back of that great Halt Rock combo from Finzi and from Steel Dragons. That was it. It wasn't an ult fight. It wasn't a good engage. It was just a halt. It was just a Halt Rock. So they do have to feel a little bit blessed in that respect. And I have to say, Pure Irish has been getting a lot more value on this hog than realistically I would ever expect, considering there's so many heroes that Iceland are running that are so good at just punishing hog. You have the Sigma to block the majority of damage, to block the hooks along with the Orisa shield. You also have that Reaper, you have the Doom, both great at punishing hog and displacing hog into the rest of the team. But Irish has been doing a good job of just not getting caught, of being in places where he's very safe and then committing after those cooldowns have been used.
And also, you brought it up mid-match, but there's also some inherent synergy when you're wearing the Mei there because you get the hook. Well, normally you would have a team collapse and go, okay, let's protect the person that just got hooked. Now there's a wall in your way. Pretty hard to actually go forward and adapt to the hook at that point. So, again, even though this is a little bit more unconventional from what people expected going into the Overwatch World Cup, it is enough that it is giving Iceland a very tough time right now.
And you have to give credit to the Ireland strategy where they're not really attempting to play what is considered the meta as hard. They're attempting to play strats that they feel they're very comfortable on, and they're strats that do make sense strategically. You have the Hanzo, you have the Pharah, you're playing the high ground. It's tough. It's a Hollywood second has always been a traditionally hard point to enter, and even Hollywood first if you make sure to control those high grounds properly. So Ireland are doing an excellent job of trying to counterpick what they feel they're maybe not as comfortable on, which is that Reaper Doom type of comp.
Right, and also going into it, I don't think it's a bad strategy to begin with also because you look at Iceland, you look at some of the prestigious players they have on there, maybe you do admit to yourself going, I don't know if we're going to win the mirror matchup. There are plenty of situations where taking your own style of play, making it your own, it might not be the sort of meta-approved setup that people think is the best, but it can give a matchup prompt to the other team and can let you get through.
And they've been doing a good job of it. And also, it's really a way to, when we go even deeper, to punish that Reaper Doom comp due to the fact that they don't have a lot of mobility. The Reaper can TP, sure, but you can just wait for the Reaper to TP. They don't have a Matrix for him. They don't have bubbles for him. Their Sigma, Finzi, is stuck on the low ground. Their tank, Steel Dragon's stuck on the low ground. It's only Sindri and Happy that actually have any sort of mobility to sort of remove the high ground and take that space away from them, unless they're taking the fight into them, which so far they haven't had a great job of doing, especially with Flex G on the Mei, because the Mei can just isolate them and wall them.
I also think that when you're used to the standard Reaper Doom versus Reaper Doom, you feel like you could be a little bit more aggressive than you actually can when you're up against Hanzo and Hog, because certain areas that you teleport in that would normally be free if there's not a Doom right behind you, you just end up in a situation where actually you're totally fine. However, we are going to be taking a quick break as we wait for this pause to resolve. We'll be rejoining you as soon as we're ready to go. And we are back in game. The technical difficulty is over, and the match can begin anew. Iceland still on the attack, trying to get through point B after a very tough point A assault.
Much better exchange here where they drop both teams dropping the supercharger. They're able to remove Liam's supercharger now. Iceland moving forward through the streets. Ireland not finding any pressure at all, not able to stop this advance with Buttes down. It's a lot of sustain off the field for them.
Buckle trying to go for one early pickoff again, has a Moira in his sights, but problem is Iceland on the ground, but look at that, Pure Irish off the flank once more, takes down another two, and Ireland using the high ground to their advantage.
Ireland playing that extremely well, ZP. Sure, they drop the supercharger and they lose that initial supercharger exchange, but they just fall back. They run away behind, they retreat from the cart, they give up space and let Iceland walk into the valley of death, as you could say, and then they recollapse back in them. And once Iceland have used all of the resources to get in, Numi has no healing left, then they collapse. Then they look for the picks.
And Iceland, they're down to their final minute. Iceland really doesn't have much time. Ireland, potentially one good team fight away from a very impressive hold here on Hollywood and evening up the series. Irish looking for the pickoff, doesn't find it, needs to rotate back to his team.
And he's be careful not to get isolated here. You see Iceland looking for the counter rotation, trying to find Pure Irish, but he's going to get away. He's going to get back to the shield, going to get rocked. But I don't think
Dragon's danger. The Dragon's going to finish him off. He got poked down so low by the Pharah. A big advantage to Ireland moving on forward. And Iceland, they need to back out. They don't have the tank presence anymore, but they got Scally. A little bit too aggressive. Ireland chasing it down, and now Iceland turning it back the other way, and they even get the Mercy. Happy on a rampage.
Happy with three. What a Happy bringing it out. And I have to give a lot of credit to Finzi there. If you saw Finzi's flux there on the high ground, he uses the flux to take the high ground and to remove Scalar, and gets that Ana off, removes the antis, removes the possibility of an Ana boost and all that healing. Very good find for Finzi, and Happy just cleaning it up afterwards.
And Iceland, they were trying to get out. Ireland just chased so deep that they gave the opportunity for Iceland to turn back the other way. Halfical in over the top, the highest of noons here, takes down Flex G, drops on down. And Iceland in a good spot. The Mercy completely without cover. Halfical though falls before he's able to finish off. Sindri though, taking up where Happy left off. And it is a brawl on the point right now. Buckle on the verge of bringing it on back.
It's Buckle, he's nanoed, he's pocketed, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to find the fight, and Iceland doing a very good job there. Sure, Happy put himself in a little bit of a precarious position when he dropped off the high ground, but he found a good spot initially. He makes sure to sit there and get some of that early damage, gets that high noon off, and just plays safe. Gets the pick that he needs, and they just put Sindri into the rest of the tank line for Ireland.
Iceland getting to stay alive, but they're still at a time deficit right now. Only a minute left to get through the entirety of Point C. Ireland can bring this back.
Iceland, if I'm Iceland right here, I'm looking for Sindri to make the play. You see, he's taking the high ground early, has the Death Blossom. They really want to put Sindri, use only Sindri's ult here to win this fight if possible. Numi maybe should invest the Coalescence. They need to go aggressively here while they still have Buttes on the Pharah, or while on the Mercy, I should say, and make sure that there's no Matrix. Irish can't stop this unless he gets the hook.
It's as old as time. The Reaper on the high ground waiting to drop on down. Halfical already down. Now for Iceland, you have to consider, do you go for it? This could still be a good Death Blossom opportunity. Sindri, what do you choose? Do you wait for Happy or do you go in? And it looks like they're going to wait.
They're waiting for Happy. Happy going to the Doom to get back quicker. Also, I think the Doom is a much better pick here than the McCree. When you're having to duel the Hanzo that's getting pocketed and you have the shield of Liam in your face, it's probably better to go with this Doom, try to get some pressure onto the backline, onto Buckle.
Iceland moving a little bit far forward. They're not going to get the drop down Death Blossom the way they might have liked. Early Supercharger moving on in, and there's a Death Blossom right to the right-hand side. He just walked through the door and got three.
Great awareness there from Sindri. You see that the Dragon had been used. They had fallen back all to the corner. They had already placed their shield, so there was no way to mitigate the damage. And Sindri then goes for the flank, knowing there's no one to stop him, because Pure Irish doesn't have a Matrix. You can't eat that damage.
When you expect the Reaper to be coming in from the high ground, and he just walks in your front door, starts spinning.
It was a really good reposition there from Sindri now, though they did finish with a little bit of time left in the bank, not quite at the OT. And Ireland now going to be on the offense, though it was a good defense. It was a very good defense for Ireland. It wasn't, obviously they would like to prefer to hold last, but it was still good.
I would say that Ireland had a really, really good point A defense. They had about a middle-of-the-road point B. Point C was their weak point, but because the first 2 points were good, this is still a pretty good situation to find yourself in. I would say that overall, it was still advantage Ireland over the course of that last round, but now the question is, can their offense also deliver?
Depends on the strategy they want to use here, because also one of the big reasons that their defense for C sort of fell apart is that they had to swap Flex G. They had to swap. They were behind the ult bank. They had to get the Mei. They were still trying to use the Hanzo and try to take those duels long range, but because of the geometry of point C, it was a lot easier for Iceland to abuse the flanks and to get this aggressive engages than it was for Ireland to back away from them.
Also, I'm not entirely sure how effective this is going to be coming in from Ireland, where Ireland has been banking on Buckle getting early pickoffs. It's been arguably the strongest point of their team right now, the amount of free team fights they get via Hanzo. Buckle's now swapping over to the Sombra, where, yes, EMP is powerful, but it's not going to be the same level of pressure that they were getting from the Hanzo, and it might make more sense as a strategy.
He might just be scouting. I think he's just going to scout. I think he's going to look for it's not guaranteed that Buckle's going to stay on this. Gonna look for what they're running and probably come back. They might stick with it. No, he's gonna go to the Mei. He's gonna go to the Mei. So they're playing actually a Mei Pharah with the hog, and that means they're once again looking to isolate people, get that spam in from Flex G. Iceland does not have a lot to stop any of the spam for Flex G or to stop the approach of Ireland, but they do have a lot more sustain.
Buckle's not going to be able to give the same level of pressure on the Mei either. So this puts a lot more in Flex G to get very effective poke damage in Iceland. They're just gonna hang out behind the shields.
See Happycool rotating to the higher ground. They're trying to find pure Irish there. You see a lot of pressure, but Flex G doing so much damage.
They rotate around, Flex G in danger, but getting healed up all at the same time. Able to go back up to full. Both teams getting low for a moment, but now able to reset to a degree. No, Flex G is down, takes an icicle right to the gut.
A good res there from Utes, keep them in the fight. Scally's about to have Nano, but with Buckle down, I think this is where Ireland's going to have to just back up. They're going to have to reposition, wait for those players to come back up. The Nano's already available, but they don't have the Barrage. They don't have an ult to really combo with it just yet for Ireland, so they're going to have to wait. Iceland doing a good job of mitigating the pressure that Flex G can give, and as soon as they're getting the rotation out, as soon as Mutes and Flex G are getting for a rotation onto the high ground, then they're pressuring that front line. They're making them split their resources.
And Flex G's been under enormous pressure here from Iceland, where you wouldn't think it would be as effective as it has been, but the Sigma Mei, pretty decent here so far. Ireland still looking for the poke damage over the top. Finzi getting awfully low. Finzi in danger, but able to rotate around, get healed back up, and now they're about to have Flex online.
There's the Nano used, Nano Barrage, Flex G already down.
It's not anywhere near as effective. Iceland up 6-on-5, just rolling into Ireland, going to repel them entirely. Half the time burned off the clock.
Iceland have been playing this masterfully, ZP. They're making sure to not play in easy sight lines. They're denying the chance for Ireland to really get any halt hook combos. Anytime that a rotation takes place, especially if it's Flex G and Mutes, they're pressuring the front line. It's hard for them to keep everyone up. It's Scally that's really the sole person trying to keep their entire front line and Buckle alive because Flex G needs that constant pocket from Mutes.
I think for Ireland at this point, if they don't get early fire pressure that leads to an immediate pickoff, they need Irish to find a hook, but it's just difficult the way Iceland is playing, the way they're behind the shields and just playing behind the walls also.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Iceland as soon as they engage, as soon as Ireland gets more into this point, as soon as they try to take this engage, I think Happy's going to look for the Mei ult. He knows it can't be Eden, especially if they can force the fortify from Liam, but that's even better if they find Mutes.
And Happy did the heavy lifting there. The Orisa got the finish, but it was Happy with the icicle turning up right now for Iceland when they need it most. And Ireland, this is getting real grim. Only a minute 12 left for this attack.
Soon we're going to have a 6 ult v 6 ult fight here, a full 12 ult fight coming up very soon. Ireland coming close to those 6 ults. Iceland about to have their 6. But I have to say, ZP, I prefer the Iceland ult bank over the Ireland ult bank. They have a whole hog, they have a Valkyrie, but I'd much rather have a Gravitic Flux.
They're going to open up the Supercharger, but the Flux opening up. Buckle already down. Buckle doesn't even get a chance to get the Blizzard out. That's a huge loss for Ireland to start things out. Iceland in full control in Ireland. They just need to get out of this fight. They have 38 seconds left, and they still have some ults to use in the next.
They can't have anyone else be staggered, though, because the stagger is very bad right now due to the time. Mutes does get out, but with no Supercharger, that's a big loss. Supercharger already off the field, but with Finzi committing the Gravitic Flux as well. The Nano Barrage, what we need to watch for Ireland here. Flex G needs to look for a position where he can get value from this Nano Barrage. Happycool, no Ice Block, he's isolated.
He gets the Ice Block off, though. The Death Blossom to the back. Buckles down again. He doesn't get the chance to use the Blizzard, and they might not get another. Iceland smothering Ireland right at the choke point. And as a result, Ireland in a real danger here. Flex G to the back, taken on out, and Happy roaring back in on DPS.
And that's going to be the second map going the way of Iceland. You see Ireland coming in, trying to look for the stall. Buckle will have that mail, but it's all just stagger. Unless a miracle play comes out here right now for Ireland, this fight is done and doneer.
Well, they move in the emergency Reinhardt, hoping for a miracle, but there's not a lot of ways that can transpire. Iceland totally fine. Bionate's the back. Haffy gets dangerously low, but there's just not the follow through. Overtime ticking on down, and Iceland takes map 2. They're one map away from sending Ireland home.
One more map for Iceland, and they're moving forward to face UK. And I have to say, Ireland's strategy really fell apart there on the offense. They had some success on the defense, but it was the offense. It was Iceland recognizing the weakness there. They just played that comp where they played so aggressively. They kept pressure on that choke. They did not give any space to Mutes or Flex G. And also, you pointed out several times, Buckle did not mail ult. He never got the chance to mail ult once.
Repeatedly.
Not a single Blizzard.
It was one of their key win conditions there to land a good Blizzard, but Buckle was just under so much pressure where I think Buckle was trying to get a little bit greedy, trying to go in and get the perfect Blizzard, but the more that you're just walking forward, the more you're telegraphed and the more you're going to get focused down. So Iceland recognized it, they punished Ireland, and now Ireland, despite coming out stronger than I think many believed, they have to reverse sweep or they're done.
Remember, it is the first to 3, so it is possible for Iceland to definitely bring this back, or for Ireland. But Iceland looking pretty dominant, especially on hybrid. Ireland might just be a team that fares a lot better on control due to the fact that they can play a very aggressive style. They can play around the strengths of Flex G and Buckle. But when you move to these more set map pieces where you have to worry a lot more about the ult economy, about how you take those engages, Iceland seemed to be on Hollywood a lot cleaner of a team, a much cleaner team.
Ireland's going to get a little bit of time to think things through, to consider how they want to bring this series back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if the Underdogs can rise up once more. And we are back here at the Overwatch World Cup, where Team Ireland coming out much stronger than expected, but it hasn't quite been enough. Now facing elimination against Iceland as we move into our escort map.
It's going to be our escort map coming up right next. And Iceland, they sort of dominate on hybrid, I have to say. Yeah. Hybrid, they looked very, very strong. For Rialto, I'd expect something very similar because that is going to be our escort. And Rialto is, much like hybrid, is a map where Iceland has time to set up. They have time to sort of set up their engages, to set up their rotations, to work a lot more with the ult economy. And Ireland clearly had some failings with setting up those more consistent pushes and getting value out of them, especially those picks.
I also think the way Ireland likes playing, it's good on control, it's good on defense. It's not so great on offense because I don't think they can get away with the Hanzo on offense. They didn't run it back on Hollywood. I don't think they're going to run it on offense here on Rialto. So the key to victory for Ireland here at this point, I think they have to have an absolutely iron defense that does not let Iceland get through point A.
So Ireland going to be setting up here. Going to be on defense first. Iceland here on the offense. Haffy on the Pharah, going to be pocketed here by Futhark. They're just going to be trying to get the spam. See Ireland trying to not give them any space. Scally just getting a little bit of poke. As Buckle finds the headshot across. Very early pick off there. They're going to have that res, but a very quick pick.
And we're talking about this as we were on break. I think Buckle is the key for Ireland right now. They're really relying on these early pickoffs to make things happen. And so long as Buckle is doing well, Ireland is doing well.
Iceland just pressuring the cart right now. Looking to set up their engage. You see the spam coming out onto the shield for Liam. They're trying to break it, trying to remove those tanks so then they can move forward.
Flex G, meanwhile, poking on the side. More room to work with because of the Hanzo threat. Decent damage. Iceland, though, still keeping the cart moving forward, and Liam's down, so it's a little bit dicey here for Ireland. Flex G committing on the half-a-cool, but not going to be getting as much support as he might like.
And Iceland are continuing to move the cart. They haven't been stopped here on the cart presence, and because of the pick early onto Liam means there's not a lot of tank pressure, though Pure Irish is going to find Sentry, so no Doom, or no Reaper to pressure Pure Irish now. Pure Irish can be a lot more aggressive looking for these flanks.
Iceland, though, they're still going to move in. They're going to open up the Coalescence, keep the payload moving forward. The Dragon Strike comes out, but not really on target. Makes a little bit of space for the payload. That's it. Iceland still in a good position to keep up the pressure. Pure Irish, meanwhile, looking for the hook off the flank. Half-a-cool takes down Flex G. Two rockets directly to the gut.
Haffy, cool, nice shot, Haffy. Iceland now continue to move forward, finding Mutes with the fadeaway rocket too. Haffy getting a lot of value right now on the Pharah, finding Liam. Haffy Cool says, I can play DPS, I am not just an off-tank player.
What year is it? I feel like I've been transported back to 2016, the era of DPS Haffy before he was on D.Va for really the period right after, but now, Haffy back in his DPS form.
Iceland moving forward here very aggressively. You see Flex G gonna take that mega pack. Might be just staggering himself. Needs to get out of here. Needs to reuse that concussion blast. Yep, gonna use that. Get out on the And Iceland now still moving the cart forward. Only one on cart though, so they're not moving particularly fast, but they're going to use that to take the positions. Sentry moving up to the high ground. For Iceland, they're in a good spot because now they've moved on to second as well. Finzi has a lot of space to use this Diva Bomb. And they don't have double shield, they don't have Sigma, they don't have a lot of ways to mitigate the bomb if they were to use it properly.
Aftergoal taking on Flex G again. Lopara's dancing on top. Meanwhile, the ground game for Iceland. They're going to drop the self-destruct right up, and R gets 3! Finzi! A well-executed bomb takes down the main tank at the far mercy of the boots.
And what did I say, ZP? That they moved the second. They don't have double shield. They're playing very slow. They don't have a Lucio to get away from it. And Finzi just lines it up, knocks it down. That's 3. That's the fight already. And sure, Pure Irish is going to get that pick on the Happy, but it's going to get rezzed. And now Iceland going to coast on here 2 seconds. A very quick time from Rialto getting through both first and second. And the best part is, they've kept most of their ult banks alive. It's just only the Valkyrie, only the Diva Bomb that's been used.
This is very tough for Ireland. We set the stakes earlier. They need to have a good defense. But Iceland, they've just been steamrolling through on Rialto here so far, and it might not be stopping. They're going to drop down the supercharger. Half-a-cool over the top. Barrage ready. Sindri finds Pure Irish. Up one is Iceland, and they're going to move in even deeper, and they're hunted down Flex G.
Buckle finding Happy though, using those Storm Arrows. Sindri going for the flank here, trying to move, but Scally watching them in return. Their push has been stopped right here. Buckle getting those important picks. Scally watching for Sindri for the flank.
Interesting enough, Iceland still getting a little bit of payload progress, even as they were down a few players, simply because Ireland not entirely playing off the payload. So even as Iceland loses a team fight, Ireland's still in real danger.
So Rock is being traded between Flex G and Happy, but Iceland, they need to reset. Finzi was debacked and is now going to go down. But Iceland have plenty of time to take this next fight. Ireland, their ult bank's very good. I imagine they don't want to have to use too much in the next fight, ZP. They want to try to hold it on for the fight afterwards. So it's really going to be only trying to use that supercharger for Liam if possible.
It's not good enough for Ireland to win this next team fight. They need to win efficiently. And it's going to be easier said than done. Flex G taking the fight to Half-Goal once more. Happy has been more than willing to take these fights. And just far skill. Happy gonna take the first rock, but Flex G heading on back. The pressure on the payload coming on in. The barrage up and over. But Half-Goal takes down Flex G as he goes for it. Still, Pure Irish on the ground, finds 2. The ground war, a little bit better for Ireland in this fight.
Pure Irish shutting down both of the DPS ults. You see the Valkyries being traded here, but Ireland, they're still in a good spot. It's more of, can they get any value? Can they keep Liam alive? Liam is not going to stay up, so they have to back out. They don't have the meat necessary. And when Sindri is coming back on the Reaper, it just means that they don't have the dedicated health pools to stay on that point.
Payload presence has been a problem for Ireland with what they've been running, and now a late desperation swap. We're going to see Liam off the Orisa, onto the Rhine, just to move forward, swing the hammer. Mutes though, a bit in danger, almost taken down. Dragon Strike, just to buy a bit of space. They look for Steel Dragons, are going to get him.
There's
But Finzi, the return! This is still winnable for Iceland.
Finzi just continuing to find so much value. Futhark down though, you see the pin for Liam, but he's going to get hunted down very quickly by Sindri. The DPS for Iceland are both alive. They're controlling the point. This Reaper with the Moira pocket means that there's no way to contest it. And Ireland, despite finding some solace there in that last point, Iceland just had far better heroes for the push. They were able to have far better presence against Finzi's on the Diva, consistently finding value with the Diva bombs because there's no Lucio to speed you away. There's no shields for them to hide behind. It's only Liam. It's just a lot of pressure.
Well, I think the key word there is presence, where even though Iceland was definitely winning more fights than Ireland, the fight that they were winning the entire map long, that wasn't even a fight, was just simply more people on the payload. The amount of progress they got before a fight was decided was absolutely insane, and that's why, in part, that they have such a good time bank. Ireland, a team that, from what we've seen so far, might not have the most powerful of offenses, now with their tournament life on the line, need to not only finish Rialto, but realistically, they need to do it with at least a minute left if they want to have a chance of bringing this back and going for the reverse sweep.
The Wolfhounds need to bring out some flexibility, CP. They really need to hope for some flexibility, or they better hope that Buckle is about to hit every shot for the next entirety of the rest of this match, because there's just no way that with their hero pool they've been using so far, sticking mostly to these pick classes, especially to those projectile classes that have a lot of spam, Iceland is just showing that aggression, and Sindri in particular just making sure to take the space whenever he can.
I really do like Ireland going to the Hanzo here. Again, not because I think it is the absolute best meta play, but I think it's the best play for Ireland, given how they've been able to play off of early picks from Buckle. Hasn't quite been as effective on this map, but you look at the previous 2 maps, I think it's their best shot.
So Iceland playing composition, which means they have a lot of point presence here with the double shield with Sindri on the Reaper, so they can play close, they get pocketed there by Numi, and Happy is just going to be dueling Flex G here on the sides. And when this duel is happening, that means a lot of the spam presence is out. There's no ability for them to really break the shield. It's on Buckle and Pure Irish to really be the ones to remove Steel Dragons and Finzi, but it's not really possible with all the sustain that Iceland has.
Flex G takes down Happy now. Can he deny the resurrection? Needs to camp the body for a little bit. Can't let the res come up and over. Sindri gonna fall. They successfully camp Happy's body, and this is exactly the start that Ireland needed.
Great denial from Flex G. He's the one that opened up. He wins the Pharaoh duel. Happy staying on the ground a little too long, not able to really manage those fuel resources to stay up in the air, and then gets the concussive blast. Even though you saw Finzi send the shield over to stop that camp, they were still able to get it off. They were still able to deny the res. And now Ireland, because of those picks there from Flex G from the pressure,
quick
moving
swap
here to last.
Happy's getting cheeky. He's gone to the Widow, might not be known, and Flex G could be taking a quick dirt nap here. Very curious to see what Happy does, but it's also dangerous. You need presence for the final part of point A, and we'll see if this Widow Gambit pays off.
Yeah, I would say the Widow is a tough one to make work right now, ZP, unless Happy's able to get to the flank, because all Flex G and Mutes have to do is just play around the tower, play around the geometry here.
And he's doing that at the moment. Takes down Sindri, 6-on-5 for Ireland. A lot more payload presence, and Happy yet to find a pick off here in the Widow. Irish, though, a little bit far off, and Flex G directly on the payload, drops a barrage, picks up 4, and Ireland setting a good time of their own.
Very smart moves from Ireland there. Flex G just waiting for the nano, waiting for the position. Once Iceland get close and have taken some damage, then he goes for the nano barrage over the top. And Happy's Widow just incapable of being able to deal with that, because it's like Paris first in a way, where because of the geometry, because of the map design, there's no way for them to even hit a shot, because Flex G can just hide. He can't find him.
I think they were hoping that the surprise factor would be a little bit better, where maybe they're not looking at the hero screen, just focus on the objective, and Happy gets a quick pick off. It did not work out that way, and Buckle strikes again, finds Sindri, and this is exactly what Ireland has needed. It's their style of play, it's what's been working for them, and Iceland in some real trouble.
Finzi dropping the Gravitic Flux here. You see the rest of Iceland moving forward, taking Pure Irish out of the fight. Still trying to own this space. Happy playing behind the shield. And now Ireland, without Pure Irish, they don't have a lot of health pool on the point. They're just looking for the pick. They're playing slow, but they can't really play slow into the Superchargers EP. They need to back up.
And they're backing up right now. Happy, though, going even deeper. Lands flashbang, gets down Buckle, but it comes at a cost.
This is still fine, though, for Iceland. They're chasing. They're getting some stagger kills, getting some extra presence. They need to make sure not to lose anyone here to Flex G. Flex G getting a lot of damage. They have to back up. They need to back up. They can't lose anyone. They won't. And Happy will just going to get taxied back. Food are going to go right, bring it back. Going to bring him back in the fight. They have double support for the next fight for Iceland. I imagine they're going to try to be just as aggressive as before. Ireland, though, with the Supercharger, with the barrage, they have some openings. They have a way to break open this next fight, but they have to be careful to not get Iceland, especially Flex G.
And Iceland, they just had to be aggressive. They open up at the feet, they move forward, and they just mow over Scally to start the fight. A little bit of extra aggression, and I think it's exactly what the doctor ordered.
And Happy's gone for the flank here behind, making sure that while they move forward, Happy is there just to sandwich. It's another fight, a very aggressive beat from Iceland. And Ireland, though, they did also use the barrage. They tried to use the barrage. They got denied. So that means there's no barrage available for the next fight. That's one of the big fight winners. It's really on the Halt Dragon, on the Supercharger here for Ireland to break it open. But that's tough to do when the Coalescence available. You can just kill that Bongo early.
Happy goes for the quick Deadeye, gets 3. Not something you see very often, but the execution sublime. And Ireland, they had a really good time bank of Avast, but slowly but surely, it's getting chipped away. And don't forget, they need to finish with a good amount of time remaining if they want to be realistic about their odds of turning this around. So things are starting to get dire for Ireland.
You see now Pure Irish has made the swap onto the Sigma, finally said, okay, enough's enough. We need to stop the flank from Happy. We need some way to deny, but Happy getting picked by Buckle very early.
The Ireland special, Buckle, giving life to Ireland once more, and this means the gates are open for Flex G. He does not have to worry about a whole lot on the far pressure. Iceland needs to respect it. They're backing out, but this is going to get Ireland around the corner.
Iceland's just waiting to taxi back Happy. Happy's going to be back very soon. There's the Coalescence used. Invest in the Dragon as well. Can they find anyone? Flex G getting rocked.
Flex G in danger. Sindri right to the back, takes down 4! The Death Blossom right into the heart of Ireland. And they're going to be giving up the territory they just gained.
That was beautiful from Iceland there. They used the Coalescence to try to remove those cooldowns early, and then the Halt comes out from Steel Dragons and the Death Blossom from Sindri. Very well played from Iceland. They've retaken their position. Happy is back. They're going to have Gravitic Flux, and now Ireland, they made the swap. Flex G to Doom, Buckle the Reaper, and they're hoping that they're just going to mirror match it. Or not even mirror match, because Happy's still on that McCree.
And now we've truly entered the danger zone here for Ireland. Only a minute 30 left. This is single elimination. Their journey could be over soon. Over the top, taking the high ground. The Flux is out. Iceland just backing out, hoping the Flux does a little bit of work. Buckled down, Irish striking back 5-on-5. Iceland though, fighting back, pushing back Ireland, contesting the high ground. Flex G in now on the Doomfist. And Iceland being a little bit conservative.
Iceland can play conservative right now because look, they can just wait for the beat. They can wait for the beat, they can wait for the coal. They're gonna have that double support very soon.
Flex G down, he was going for the hero play, ends up getting caught. And Ireland down to their final minute as Iceland looking very strong here on point B.
Good flashbang from Happy, just finding Flex G went a little too far. Happy equals McCree has been definitely a difference maker for Iceland so far here on Rialto. It's going to be last fight territory, ZP coming in. Look at the Ireland ult bank, it's very small, almost none. And Iceland are looking a much healthier sort of ult economy here.
And Ireland, they're running the Doom Reaper. They don't have the Hanzo threat they had before. They're going to have to win this off the meta and hope it works out. Final 24 seconds. Iceland completely stacked on ultimates. The Flux from Ireland. It's our one and only hope. They're looking for it. Happy unable to finish off to pick off Deadeye. Used in the back, takes down 2. And that's going to be it. Iceland will be defeating Ireland here on Rialto. It's a 3-0, and they've secured their date with the UK.
Nice McCree Happy. We can all say it. It is nice McCree Happy. Nice shot Happy. Happy cool actually being the difference maker there on the McCree. Doing some good things. Hits the back. It's the Happy cool DPS. We've gone back in time, ZP.
It might not be the World Cup story that we wanted, but I think it's the Overwatch World Cup story that we needed. The return of Hafikool to DPS.
Everyone was waiting for it. He may have been the second best diva in Iceland, but he is the best McCree in Iceland apparently.
We're proving that here and now today. And Iceland, I think it's fair to say that they were a dark horse coming into this. And if you're the United Kingdom, you should be a little scared. I think Astro, he says he doesn't feel fear.
He's
Maybe
quaking.
you should consider.
He's quaking.
Yeah.
He should be quaking. Iceland is coming from the land of giants. They're going to be descending upon them very soon because that is going to be our next match. It's going to be UK. It's going to be UK Iceland, I do believe.
I have to say, though, give it up for Ireland. They had a fantastic journey here, one of the most successful PR campaigns in the Overwatch World Cup. And you look at the play that we saw from them, even though they weren't favored, they definitely came out stronger than I think many expected. And I feel happy for them to put on that performance. And really, I'm curious to see where their players go in the future, because I do think there's some potential there.
And then it's also a great community there. There's, like you said, a very successful fundraiser to get them here. All of their country and their community rallied around them. It was great to see them. They were so excited to be here and to play, to be on that stage. And, you know, you can't walk away from this saying Ireland didn't perform at all. They definitely showed some potential.
No doubt about it, but we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back here on the stream, it's a date with Destiny, the United Kingdom, taking on Iceland.